Carolina Panthers playing in Detroit to face off against the Lions. The spread in this one is currently sitting at -9.5 in favor of the Detroit Lions. Definitely a heavy spread to say the least. And some of the headlines coming into this week got the return of Bryce Young going on this week, so that'll be good for the offense in Carolina to get their number one guy back. So gotta love that. I mean, I don't know if you love that, though, as that comes out of my mouth, because Bryce Young has not played to his capabilities so far this year. But on the other side of the ball, I mean, dude, Jared Goff he's looked like him so far this year, man. I mean, he's been dishing it out to his targets that they've spent high capital on. I mean, you got Amon-Ra doing his thing, and then you drafted Laporta high, and there were some other tight ends on the board in the draft that people thought maybe, like, hey, maybe you should go Michael Mayer here instead of Laporta. Like, Laporta was questionable where they took him, and it seems like it was a great investment. He's the third best ranked tight end on PFF right now. I believe he's the second highest fantasy scoring tight end right now, so gotta love that. This offense is clicking in Detroit. So that is just a super big spread right now, man. I mean, it really just comes down to this Panthers offense. I mean, I don't know if you saw the report, but they're looking around for a wide receiver one for Bryce Young, which I'm interested to see what kind of guy they can get on the market. But who do you got in this game, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, this one's kind of rough. I've been kind of hesitant on Detroit. You know, we did put them in our top 8 this week in the power rankings, so good for them in that. They put on a dominant showing against Green Bay, which I did not expect personally. But they look great right now, man. Like, there's nothing. They get Jamison Williams back. I'm not sure if it's this week or next week, but they get him back earlier than expected. Now, Dan Campbell, noted snap share devil. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him mentally, but he's like, oh, well, we're going to limit him. We're going to slow him down. And my God, I don't have any shares of Jameson Williams. I'm not insanely high on Jameson Williams, but I'm getting a little tired. Dan Campbell with his little, like, well, we're going to play the worst guys because I feel like it.
I'll take a shot in the dark and say that you're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs right now.
No, I'm talking about Ali McNeil. He just hasn't been getting on the defensive line.
Okay. Good thing we clarified that, but continue.
I've got David Montgomery, like in the league that we're always referring to. I've got David Montgomery now, so I'm a little bit okay. I'm starting both of them this week, by the way. And I don't even think it's the craziest idea in the world. I don't. Anyway, back to the actual game. I think just Detroit may pose a lot of problems for them. Aiden Hutchinson's been dominant so far. Like, he's looked fantastic. The Panthers' offensive line not looked fantastic so far. The Detroit secondary has been a little bit on the shakier side, or at least from what I've seen. And I just don't think that the Panthers have the wide receivers to make that a problem for them. So I think Detroit covers this one easily. This is probably going to be one of our quicker breakdowns just because Carolina, I'm worried about Bryce Young. I am a little bit, as the number 1 overall pick. There were questions about the size, and I'm not saying the size is the reason why he missed last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, where he missed some time. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Carolina.
I think you can say that.
And it's been 4 weeks, so I'm not like ready. I'm not like slamming the panic button, but you see CJ Stroud balling right now in Houston. You look at Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis balling. And it's kind of funny that they were like, well, we really need a wide receiver one. And you think back to your 2022 roster, you had one of those guys in the building. And hindsight's 2020, but they could have easily just gave up draft picks and not DJ Moore and moved up to 4 or 3 and taken Anthony Richardson there. Again, hindsight's 2020. Don't want to, make myself seem like a genius because I just thought of that. But it's a little concerning. We're 4 weeks in. I don't think Bryce Young is a bust. I'm not going to call that yet. But with the 2 other guys in the draft class playing as well as they are, it's got to be a little uninspiring for Panthers fans and the Panthers in general to see Bryce Young struggle with some injuries. And all of this is not necessarily his fault. We talked about it coming into the season. This playmakers group, one of the worst in the league. The offensive line was ranked, I believe, closer to the middle for us because of the
The
progression that we
highest
thought it
rated
would
lineman
take.
that they have is 24th, and the rest are below 30.
Yeah, we
So
thought they would take progression up. We thought year 2 for Mickey Ekwonu, Taylor Moton's a relatively good starting tackle. Haven't seen any of that yet, and it's been really a negative for them so far. Defense hasn't been playing up to standard either. I believe J.C. Horn's already on the IR for the second or third time in his career. Not good. I actually thought of a little like, what if, and I know that he's on IR right now, what if we sent J.C. Horn over to Cincinnati, T. Higgins, get a little... Initially, I thought...
player swap.
I know. Initially, I thought Brian Burns, but... they would obviously have to pay Brian Burns. They've already invested some money into Trey Hendrickson. I know you got 2 edges, but they also just drafted Miles Murphy as well, and I think they think he's the plan there at edge. So, but they don't really have a whole lot of investment into corner. Chidobe Awuzie, free agent after the season. I'm just floating it out. But
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions spread money line here. I just don't think the Panthers have it to keep this one close.
No, I mean, I am fully in step with you. I'll definitely take the line. I'm higher on the Lions than you are. I was before the season. And they're proving it. I mean, they're proving that they belong in the conversation. I mean, they entered into our tier 1, our first page of the power rankings this week for a reason.
Also, Panthers, 4th worst run defense grade.
Oof.
Could be a big day for David Montgomery again. Could be a big day for Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe he has a big run. I don't know.
The
Maybe
fact
he has
that we're
one big
talking
run.
about Jahmyr Gibbs, like one big run is
Maybe
all
he
we
has
need.
7. Dude, if he gets 170-yard run and sits down for the rest of the game, like I'm to the point now where I can accept that.
That is a terrible spot that we're sitting at with Jahmyr Gibbs in comparison to before the season. But yeah, it's just a tough scene in the backfield back there, especially for fantasy managers, not for the Detroit Lions, because David Montgomery's been playing really well. But yeah, I'm definitely taking Detroit on the spread and money line in this one. One last thing, Brian Branch has been playing well. I will say that, and that was another snag. I mean, this Detroit draft is looking great, man. I mean, obviously you're not using Gibbs.
I was about to say, is it?
Gibbs. So you can't, like, if you're not using him, you don't know whether or not it's a good pick. I mean, in what we've seen, it does look like a good pick.
They drafted a running back at 12. Imagine if they took a quarterback, dude. We wouldn't see him until the end of his rookie contract.
Dude, that is so true, man. Like, why would you spend the capital on a guy that's not going to make a day?
They literally act like they are using a real life taxi squad. The draft picks just go straight to the taxi squad.
Except Sam Laporta and Brian Branch.